Oh yeah, it's almost time. See our faces. The Spiel of Timers! Woo! Hooray, we're alive!
Hey!
We exist! Damn, this song is really Westworldy. Good, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm not stalling so I can off the track. Not at all.
It is very, the loopiness of it
Yeah.
feels very,
I listen to it to go to bed at night. You're welcome back, everyone. High energy, because we are here with Spiel of Time. I know you've missed us. It's been, how long has it been?
like 6 years, I think.
Yeah, about that. About
billion
6 years. So much so that I've actually shrunk to the point where I'm no longer in camera. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, I just forgot something.
And so much so to the point that I am actually in Wheel of Time land. I don't even know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And interestingly, I did not think, I mean, our graphic design team did not think ahead about what gets covered up when there are 3 people here. So this is now the season premiere. Oh, season premiere. Okay.
I mean, season
Premiere.
premiere.
Yeah, that
Premiere works. Okay.
Fine.
Well,
Those are words. Yeah.
yeah, so let's quickly recap for people who've stumbled upon this going, this isn't about Dungeons and Dragons. What? Well, I mean, not exactly, I guess.
I don't think there's no dungeons.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's any dragons.
Yeah. Let's set the ground rules so that we don't scare people off immediately, especially those who are very worried about spoilers and things like that. We are going to be talking about season 2 of Amazon Prime's original series, Wheel of Time. We will not be spoiling anything from the books. Because I am illiterate and I expect more from my 2 co-hosts here who have not introduced yet. But again, I'm worried about people who are worried about spoilers, so I even want to get that across first. And we are probably only going to talk about the first episode of season 2. So with that established, hi, welcome.
That's the only episode that anyone has watched, right?
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Natty without, yeah.
Natty and Laura, I am going to take one more second to press a button to see why our display names aren't showing up. You're just gonna have to go for it, listeners. We do have names. Oh, you know what it could be? Everyone loves to hear live production work. There it is.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm Frank. My background is that my background in terms of Wheel of Time, I'm not going to go that deep, is that I have not read any book and I have only seen the first series.
And not just Wheel of Time, but you have read
no
books ever.
No books.
Not a single book. Laura, and Natty have both being deeply entrenched in the lore. So I think we should just start off with, if you don't mind, I just want to say I don't remember anything. I went into season 1 going, all right, they're going to go through that dungeon thing with the portal and the other world that they travel through. And then Matt was on the other side of it. I can't wait to find out what happened there. And
sounds like you remember more than you're letting on.
Is that how season 1 ends?
Yes.
What? Is there a season 1.5 or are they just screwing with us?
I was a little bit confused by that too, but did you want to do a quick recap of season 1?
Please, because I don't think I remember much. I remember things as they went.
And Laura, feel free to jump in, but we're in a place called the 2 Rivers, which is a nice little town. And we have some friends. We have Rand Althor, Matt Cawthon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Perrin Ibarra. His wife, whose name is
early on.
She died. And then we have Egwene. Does she have a last name?
Alvear.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Good job. Yes. And they're all kind of the same age. And then we have the town's
healing woman.
Yeah.
Woman in charge.
It's got a name, but
Wisdom.
Yeah, Wisdom.
Right.
She's a town of Wisdom. And her name is even harder than Egwene's. It's Nynaeve. It
Almira.
Sure is. Almira.
And if you
And
say that name enough, a dog will bark somewhere.
I was excited. I was hoping. I didn't know if that was like a listener. And so we're in this
Oh, who's
town.
listening?
They establish the relationships between these people. I think this is all the first episode, and then bad things happen. Evil. Well, they're having Beltane, which is a nice yearly, I think, celebration of maybe the harvest or something.
I think it's more of like a like remembering,
Yes.
loved ones, and
That's right, because they had the
lanterns.
yeah.
Mhm.
And was it right after that?
Mhm.
Yeah, or was it like during?
So I think it was like right after, like everyone had been drinking, and the merriment was was over, but people were tired.
And then the Trollocs arrive.
The Trollocs.
All right. I'm going to interrupt because we don't want this to be a 9-hour recap.
No,
because
that was the first episode.
That was the first episode.
That was halfway through the first episode.
Yeah, but I was just trying to establish that there was now they leave Two Rivers
with Moraine and Lan.
And Moraine is something called an Aes Sedai, and Lan is her warder. He rides on a black horse that's named
Aldeeb. Mandarb.
There's no way the name of the horse is going to be
Aldeeb is her horse.
No. But she says, I have to rescue you. You're special. And then pretty much the rest of the season is they split up at a point, and they're all trying to get to this place called the White Tower, which is where all the Aes Sedai live. That's like their home place,
their dorm, their sorority. Yes.
Yeah. But there's all kinds of wacky misadventures along the way,
like a sorority. Along the way.
And there's bad people. There's things that are not ring wraiths. They are called
Midril.
Yeah.
So again, I'm going to interrupt to say that is this what I wonder if this is what I sound like when I describe any of my interests to my wife.
Yes,
it's probably right.
It's
just like oh my god,
it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's bad.
It is. It's wondrous how shows or movies or whatever can deliver that information in a way that makes sense. I hats off to like the Lord of the Rings movies, the Peter Jackson one, and this series. I think the series, I think we remarked about it last season of our show, that it does a pretty good job of catching people up on all these damn books with their words.
It really it trims a lot of fat, and I think that's a great transition if you want into this season.
I'm gonna try. So I figured that diehard Wheel of Time fans will already be disgusted by us from the first season of Spiel of Time. So they're not watching.
They don't like us.
Maybe not. Well, who knows? Some of them are probably drinking and enjoying themselves, right? I mean, drinking anything, just their popcorn, their sodas of choice, and are just enjoying themselves going to these plebes and drinking. But for the few people who are going to be more like me, and I'm curious about how much I remember. So I'm going to do my practice recap.
Wait.
Good idea.
What? Oh, wait. Oh.
No, she said she can't wait.
No, I can't wait.
Can't wait. Okay.
Like,
so this is a fantasy universe, which I believe is going to be some sort of post cataclysm, because I think the world was much more advanced at one point and then became medieval again. But I don't even know why I know that. I think it was like a weird, like a foreshadowing thing or something in the first episode. Doesn't matter. I'm already getting too long-winded. So fantasy universe. In this universe, magic exists, can be wielded by women. It's called weaving, I think. And is very interestingly, that wasn't interesting, but in the show, it's interesting way of visualizing it. Men normally cannot do that, wield magic. And if they do, they go crazy. There is a prophesized return of a great dragon, the Dragon Reborn, who is a person who will either defeat the darkness if they're a good person, or if they are a bad person, being a technical term. And of course, if this Dragon Reborn is a man, and men who use magic are usually crazy, it's more dangerous if it happens to happen to this one man. Rosamund Pike is playing a magic wielding woman who has learned that the Dragon Reborn will probably happen in this small town, which of course gets destroyed by the great enemy. And there is in the first season, one of like a half dozen people could be the Dragon Reborn. We don't know, although I think at the end of the season we kind of guessed who it might be. And then some people are sort of twisted by the evil magic. Some characters are learning to control their powers. One guy is probably a werewolf. Things happen, and that's the end of the season. Of one was them going through that portal, which allowed them to go someplace to do something. I think it was to face the evil guy, but I don't remember. That's where my whole memory falls apart. So I think it was a pretty good recap, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't bad. It got
like the $1 million battle scene.
Well, yeah, there was lots of great battles at the end of the world that may or may not actually be the final battle. And there are a bunch of studly dudes. I think they're old dudes who guard the Aes Sedai, who are the women who wield magic.
The
it's
warders.
A gendered society, the warders. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my quick and dirty. Like, I think you would understand it, even if you're like, what is an org or Trollocs?
You didn't mention Loyal or
Nope, no names. Can't remember names.
the dagger of
It was an evil dagger, made somebody go bad. That's
what was that? Shiroth?
Shadar Logoth.
Yeah.
I actually don't even remember what that is.
That was the town.
The town, evil town.
Yeah,
Bad town.
It was bad town that had the bad dagger in it that made the guy a bad guy.
Yeah.
It tempted him with the
But they
powers
fixed it.
of cutting,
Yeah.
and it was probably magic, right? It wasn't just like a convenient knife.
No,
This thing, man, because I have been lured by a convenient knife. If it's nice enough, I'm like, it's
a nice knife.
That's a nice knife.
You're fully adult now.
Yeah.
To be tempted by knives.
Yeah. No. Oh God, like a chef's knife that like
really good. Like
definitely
steel knife.
But so the what you were saying before, they go into this gate, this portal, and
the ways,
I'll write down not Stargate.
There's not a Stargate, and they're all in there, and they realize that Matt is not inside with them, and they can see him, and they're like, Matt, come with us. And I think they're like, we'll find you. And what that was behind the scenes was a fun way to deal with the fact that the actor playing Matt, whose name was Barney Fife, I feel his name was.
Yes.
He opted out. I don't know. I don't know why he decided not to do it.
He knew the strike was coming.
Yes, and they had to replace him with
Donell somebody.
Another
Finn.
Matt.
It was another Matt who is Donnell Fife. Barney Fife
Irish
brother. It's Barney Harris and Donnell Finn. We know these people. We have inside tracks. We interview. It's a thing. We know
it's a thing.
We're good. We're just pretending to be idiots.
So now
the pickup of the season was like, it honestly, because there's so much lore and so many plot threads and so much complication, I thought I forgot a lot. I don't think I did, as much as I didn't pick up on the time jump that clearly happened before the season picks up.
Yeah.
Does that track with the books at all, or is this completely just something new for the show?
The books are over 1,000 pages, so you got a lot of space to fill.
Yeah.
So they fill that with all the little, we're walking to, such and such place. Yet we're still walking. And we're still walking, So they cover it. But it's easy enough to skip it.
I will say though, I was also a bit confused. I mean, I figured it out pretty quickly. I was just like, "What? Wait, where are? Oh, they're okay." And I understand just for the sake of expediency that they needed to jump ahead and give you context clues. Like, oh, now Nynaeve and Egwene are at the White Tower, and they're learning or studying to be Aes Sedai. And I think Rand doesn't show up until like halfway through the episode at least, but he's just like walking through a town, kind of pointing at people.
Yeah.
Giving
Beltane, because it's Beltane again. So it's been a
Oh.
full year. So it's actually probably not as
Oh.
far of a jump as you would expect. It was basically the amount of time that it takes to get to wherever they were.
That's you know
So
what?
it's been a full year.
That was
No,
a
Natty
really...
knew that. That's why you brought up specifically what the holiday was.
Yeah.
You were
No,
doing
I didn't. That's really smart of them.
There's literally whole minutes of them talking about Beltane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like. I think so. I certainly don't want to do this as like mistakes were made on the show or whatever, like being like micromanaging or whatever. But like, there's something different between covering travel, normal travel, and just saying let's skip over this to we got to the portal, we're in the portal, we're going to our destination, and then coming out of it, and the party has been split, the narrative has been split, and they're trying to giving us hints about what's going on. It was much more jarring than just let's cut out the travel, unless I completely missed, and I may have completely missed the purpose of them going through that portal. It was supposed to be super dangerous, like we have to do it. Was it what do either of us, any of us, remember why they were going in the portal the first time?
You've forgotten the whole last in battle scene.
No, I do remember the last battle scene.
So that's where it ended. So they went through the portal.
They actually went to the place,
but they went to the place where they needed to go.
They went.
So yeah, that wasn't how it ends.
It wasn't.
Okay, good.
No,
I'm actually relieved that I was correct in how stupid I was.
Yeah,
so I did forget the timing. I thought season 1 ends with after the battle at that city, with the horn. Everyone looking for that horn that would call.
Oh,
yeah. I thought after that battle, they escaped to the portal, and then we don't know what happened.
Oh,
now
no.
I'm remembering the portal brought them to the city.
Yeah.
The city had the battle scene. The Aes Sedai, some of
that
them
was
died,
kind
I
of
believe, in the battle.
Yeah.
And the city was sacked, and I believe one of the last scenes was Rand traveling around in that thorn forest.
With Moraine, the blight.
Yeah, that was towards the end. Okay, now that and again, I feel like if they had a little bit of a 5-minute refresher, and they probably have, but it didn't queue up for me on Amazon Prime, so that would have been helpful to just remember that. Oh yeah, okay, this is what happened.
That's super important stuff, because at that last battle, Rand, who turns out to be the Dragon Reborn, breaks, and this stuff I don't know what it's called at all, but it's the seal on this Kilindar. And because they think that this is the last battle, that this is where the Dark One is, and this guy comes up and he's very well dressed, and this is where you got your hints to it being a much more technological society. Was you see him in a flashback in this, like, I feel like there's flying cars, maybe,
something like that.
But so this guy comes out and kind of, it reminded me of what was the show, Professor X's kid who has crazy hair? Legion. Yeah. So when Legion, who's brain stuff, what is he? I should probably have more information. No,
my thing is Wheel of Time. I have no idea about.
So this is like when Professor Xavier fights with the bad guy, but they do it like on this mental plane.
Oh, the astral plane battle of Funk.
Yes,
and it was the something thief. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, but so that's very much what Rand and this guy were doing. It was all kind of, they weren't like fighting. They were it was all mental.
Rand was given his perfect life and everything. Yeah, a lot of it's weird how those bullets got lost. It was really just a recap of that last episode. I probably should have watched the last episode. And it feels a shame that 21 minutes were spent. Maybe this is one of the I was about to say maybe this is the reason they didn't recap it, because it been 21 minutes of recap. I think someone who knew what they were doing could probably sum that up in 5. And I do.
This is much more entertaining, you know.
I've heard there are recaps, but either they were on a different platform or they were like fan things. I don't know, but it was I felt kind of lost going into this. But once I've settled in and saying, all right, this is the ride, and we're halfway through, the first 4 episodes are out. It is interesting where they placed everyone. Right? I like that we get the Aes Sedai learning their powers. I'm intrigued to where Rand is going. I'm still stupidly banking on him not being the Dragon Reborn. I'm like, hey, damn it. He doesn't get a diploma. He doesn't get a certification.
It could happen. Yeah, it could happen.
And I think probably the most compelling thing of the first episode is the disintegrating relationship between Morgaine and Lan, which is cool. It's nice world building and character development, and I do like that.
Yeah. And so what happened there? Just another step back. When Moraine was there with Rand fighting the bad guy, the bad guy actually ended up cutting Moraine off from the power, from the one source, they call it. And so it's kind of like the Force, where they're walking through the world and they can sense air and wind and earth and all this stuff. And he just went, bleak. And so so this episode, she's just like very sad and very angry. And the Aes Sedai and the Warders have this bond through the one power there, and it's been severed, and so she can't feel Lan can't feel her,
right,
and she's definitely pushing him away.
So from my read on this was, and the reason why I think I thought it was the most compelling part was it feels like they're doing a version of the story of this is what happens when you're in a power couple. You're in a really, like, you and your partner, romantic partner, whatever, doesn't matter, are really in sync, and you know each other's in and outs, and you can work almost like without words, and you're just like something to be envied. And then something happens, and you experience some sort of tragedy, or even like a financial bump or whatever it is in your life, and suddenly you've gotten your first bit of grit in the gears, and the whole thing starts crumbling down. So these two were like perfectly in sync, but like they ignored or they undervalued the role magic had in making them on the same page. And indoctrination, right? The fact that she was the leader, the decision maker, the power broker, and he was there for support and moral support, emotional support. Like you could gender flip this on modern society and it'd still be there. It's like she lost her job and the couple has to deal with it. And I love that. For me, I mean, I love magic and fantasy and wackiness. I like it also when it's grounded in something that I could have emotional bonds with. I don't know if the book ever played with that or if it was more subtle. I know we were at different ages when you read it, so sometimes you just rip through it and don't notice it as a kid. But that was really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so in the book, she doesn't completely lose her power, but Moraine's fully aware that she's probably going to die because of what she's doing, and the threats that she is dealing with. She knows what's happening, what's going to happen, what's coming. And as you saw if you remember in the first season, there was an Aes Sedai who died, and her warder couldn't handle it, so she tried to prepare Lan with the eventuality of her dying. And so she pushed him away in the books because she wanted to break that bond, because she knew that something was going to happen to her. And she knew that Nynaeve was there, that he had this connection and relationship to her, and he didn't, while he's totally loyal to Moraine, his loyalties kind of split. And he, he would never leave Moraine, but she wanted to make sure that he had that option to go to Nynaeve.
Right.
If anything were to happen to Moraine. So it is interesting that they did this in the show. It's similar. It's so yeah, I appreciated that. It's
I like that. I like the two readings. They're both good. Yeah. Natty, were you saying something? I'm sorry. No? Okay. Then I heard a Lor's echo. Lor's echo, do you have anything to say?
No, I think more wine.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a great thing for an echo to say. I would not tell that to like other people because that might be disturbing to them. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we don't have the ability to do one of these for every episode, partially because of that 3-episode commitment that they just dumped those 3 at once, and I did not have the ability to watch basically a 3-hour Wheel of Time half movie. That was too much for me, which I think might be a misstep for Amazon.
Yeah, I think it's Amazon did such a strange thing, and we talked about it before. They bought this intellectual property, and then they spent $1 trillion on the Lord of the Rings stuff, and then they were like, "Oh, this was almost like the stepchild." And when they got Lord of the Rings, they were like, "Here's all the money," and it definitely shows in like how cinematic it is and the sets and everything. And I think they do a great job with Wheel of Time. But I mean, what was it? Is it really 2 years since it came out?
I feel like it may have been a full year. I'm not sure how long. I should look it up.
Feels like so long.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, just being a little pragmatic, and I have no evidence of this, but it almost feels like Amazon said, we need a You May Also Like for people who watch Rings of Power, right? So they need a related content to show up at the end of that. So they click on something else and stay on the platform. Which, I mean, there's all sorts of levels of production value that are valuable. But for me, it's not really about the production value. It's so much about like, did you with intention? Did you drop those 3 episodes? I have to guess yes. When you think about it, I mean, I haven't looked at release schedule and what it's up against, but we're in the middle of the writer strike and the actor strike. You'd think you'd want to hold on to whatever you had and dole it out slowly,
especially original content.
Yeah. Instead of just putting 3 out. So maybe those 3 episodes, nobody in this have seen all 3, which is a choice we've made, because I think we have to watch it like most normal people would watch it. I could not, again, sit down for 3 hours or so and watch all of it. And without the recap, and where there's so much distance and there's so much world building, I think it might be a misstep. I haven't heard people talking about it. The last week, the last week, the 4th episode dropped, even though it is the second chance you had to catch up, and it already feels overwhelming. Like there's too much to watch to catch up. But we're at the midway point, so I think it's a good time to stop and talk about what we want to see and what we're worried about coming up for the rest of the show, and then maybe we'll meet one more time or 2 more times. We might meet, right before the last episode, and then after the series is all done, and talk about what we saw.
Ooh.
Yeah. I want to see the gang back together. I know it's a huge cast, but like, I don't know if I can handle a Game of Thrones-esque situation where the people we got together are never together again. It just feels like too much. At least maybe
what if they all get together in a few years?
If we could skip those few years, then sure. But like, don't make me follow like a half dozen unrelated storylines or tangentially related storylines. We don't have the bandwidth in what Amazon is doing. I mean, Game of Thrones did that, and it didn't have the bandwidth in the last like season or 2 when they got shortened episodes or shortened seasons. You can't do it in a streaming show with 8 episodes. Each episode has like 10 different story arcs, and I can't even remember half of them. It's weird. I know something happened with Perrin, and I immediately forgot what it was. He was worried he's being bloodthirsty, I think. Right? Is that it?
Last season, yeah.
No,
But
even this first episode,
Mhm.
he revisited the whole. He was not being. He played with pacifism for like an episode of last season.
with the Tinkers,
Yeah,
yes.
with the Tinkers, and then this season he was like, pacifism is bad, and I'm like, all right, but you've had like 10 minutes of airtime in this episode, so like it's not gonna stick. So I would rather see the principals getting together. And that's my big worry. And well, that's what I want. And that's my big worry because it seems like it's going to be a lot of threads that are all over the place.
A lot of threads that are being weaved.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Look at you.
I'm so
You remember
proud.
more than you thought.
Yeah.
What I would say if they're basing it off the books, usually there's the end, they come together at the end of the book. At least maybe not everyone. Groups come together and then they part their ways. So if they are cutting out all the extra, walking bits, you should be able to see some of them together at all times. The problem is that there are a lot more people that should come in.
So
many more. But the good thing is that those groups, they'll still stay in groups. It's just the groups might change, and so you're still going to have probably a lot of different groups. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they'll come together, and then they'll go, and then they'll come together.
What is something you're hoping will happen with your learned experience with the books, Lorlar?
So I made an awful mistake, and I read the second book, and then I read the third book, and I'm on the third book now. It's really bad. So I'm in this place where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is not there, and this is not there, and this is not there. So that was a really, really bad judgment call on my part, because the first season I was just winging it and going off of my memory.
Right. So you're looking for the highlights, but you don't.
Yeah, this is good. But now it's just I have no idea what they're doing because the people aren't together, and so I just hope that they stick to the main story, and I hope that they bring in certain people that haven't been brought in yet, and I think that they will if I have listened to the rumors and everything.
The rumor mill.
Yeah. So I think I'll be okay. The important people who need to come in will be coming in this season. And I'll let y'all know immediately when they do come in.
Nice.
Yeah. So
very nice.
Natty, anything in particular you want to see?
I don't know. I mean, I was so confused and lost when I watched the first episode, and like I read the books. Season? Yeah, I mean, just like
what was confusing?
I don't know. Just to get back into it, I don't know. It just didn't. It's not that it didn't grab me because I enjoyed all of it. There was some stuff, and maybe, and then so full disclosure, I'm the one who watched the second episode as well, and I'm very confused in my mind of stuff that was in the first episode and stuff that was in the second episode, because there's stuff in one of these episodes where I'm like, that shouldn't be happening now. I don't think that's happening now, and like that's from several books from now, and so that was very confusing, and I think threw me off. And there's also a character who I don't know who it is, and there's a bit of a relationship that I'm confused about as well. I mean, there's a few things where I'm just like, am I misremembering this that much?
So it's almost it almost sounds. I'm sorry. Continue.
I just hope that there's that it gels.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Like, I hope it's good. Is the best answer to that question.
That's my thing, is that they're messing with it so much that I just hope that they make a good story.
And that's
And I hope that it lasts because I need to see the end now.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Um,
gonna be so iffy because of the amount
it's
of time it takes, and again, the writers and
yeah.
actor strike, because this is gonna make it even longer. We might even get the original Matt back, depending on the reason he left, and
super quick,
commitment.
because Matt was in this first episode of the second
Yes.
season. Opinions. Frank, what did you think?
For some reason, my gut told me that this didn't happen in the book. I don't know why, but I thought that's what that is true. And my opinion was this is very interesting and very creepy and super cool.
Oh no, I'm asking about which actor you
actor?
enjoy.
Oh, which actor? He was a blink and a miss it. I gotta still give it to
He
Barney
looked-
Harris because he's such
Yeah.
it was such a small role for Donnell Finn that like I couldn't get my meat in it, like my teeth in the role yet, and his portrayal of the role.
It's a kid's show. Jesus.
Yes. But is it Leandra?
Yeah.
Leandrin.
And Matt,
he has such
I'll ship
bone
that.
structure. Like, that's all I noticed.
Yeah, that's it. Like he was
I
just
need more
too jarring.
braids.
What?
I need more braids.
He needs
She
more braids.
in the book she's always has teeny tiny braids.
Oh,
I need more braids.
All right, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes, Kate Fleetwood, get some braids. Well, so, and again, I don't know why I'm doing this Monday morning quarterbacking this, but I wonder if this whole project would have been better if they had done like stories within the Wheel of Time. It'd be harder because it's not like you've got like Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings, like something that was in the zeitgeist that people can say, oh, I know the world you're talking about. But maybe you get to narrow your cast down a little bit and focus in on those 8 episodes you have to tell a story that's really good from that world without going nuts and without alienating all the, well, you probably always alienate the fans. That's what fans do. They're fanatics. I don't know, but obviously we can't change that until they start paying us the big bucks. Right? Give us some money. We'll fix this show for you, Amazon Prime. We will definitely break this picket. No. All right. Now that I've gotten very weird. So I cannot wait to watch the last 2 episodes of the premiere and the new episode that just dropped before Friday's episode comes out. If you have anything you want to say, now's the time, viewers. Leave us a comment. We'll answer your question as best we can. If it's a complimentary thing you say about us, we'll put it on screen. If it is insulting, we will hunt you down.
Now, are there there's people watching this?
They're human beings watching this right now. I assume, or very wise
bots.
cats.
I didn't know.
No, there are people watching us right now, but they're being very quiet. But that happens when people keep us on in the background. There's also a painful delay, which means sometimes we close just as people say, "Oh, I want." So that's why I'm stalling right this now.
Oh, it's good stalling.
Yeah.
Frank, do you have anything to plug?
I do. We have the Non-Pro Comedy Show, which exists on October 5th. Right now, it does not exist. You have to wait until the 5th of October, and it's spooky season. So,
and that is in Montclair, New Jersey, at Just Jake's.
Yeah, Montclair, New Jersey. We might even stream it in the future if I don't know, if the world continues to collapse. Patrick says, unfortunately, they just joined the live stream, but I'm interested to hear more from you in the future.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick. We are interested in telling you more in the future. How about you? Do you have anything to plug, Natty?
Of course I do. I have a show this Thursday with the Sweet and Sour Comedy at a place called La Serra in Totowa, New Jersey. And also I have my podcast, which is called The Bumper Podcast, which is a real treat for anyone who dares to listen.
Yes. Wow. For anyone who dares to listen. I like that challenge.
Yeah.
Accepted. Laura, do you have anything to plug, or would you like to say something to one of your animals?
I got nothing. No, I think they're probably sleeping now that we're ending.
Ooh, this is a great little comment I want to put up just towards the end. I like ending on positive notes. Patrick goes on to say, I'm a book reader who's positive on the show. I love that.
Okay.
Season 1 was okay, but I saw the promise. Season 2 is a big step up. Many of the book screen changes, but they seem more strategic this season. I really enjoy that. No matter what, you can't transfer a book to the screen unless you have Sir Patrick Stewart reading it, which I am all for. Let's do that. Let's have him read these books to us. But barring that, you got to have some sort of adaptation flex, and it's good if you're a fan of something to be flexible on that.
Very true.
I am excited to find out more. I'm very excited to watch the next 3 episodes that I have in the can now that I'm allowed to, and it's no longer embargoed. Natty.
Wait, I didn't do that. That was other people.
No, you broke the embargo.
Oh, I did break the embargo. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
We were standing strong.
Yeah, we were united, and then
And we wouldn't have even known. You ratted yourself out.
It's guilt. It's real guilt that I have.
I've been trying to hit play in our background music for a while. It's not working. Oh, there it is. Okay. So from all of us at Spiel of Time, follow us on YouTube, Twitch, etc., so that you can get a notification the next time we go live. I think the plan is going live sometime before the final episode, and then maybe once more after the final episode. And then unless we go nuts and say we need to start doing this after every episode.
Single episode.
Or even go live during an episode. We'll just call each other up and say, get on the damn YouTubes and the Twitches.
I mean, I can't handle that's too much.
Yeah, no, I can't handle that at all. I'm way past my bedtime right now. 10 p.m.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll wave.
Oh, we're leaving.
Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah. Bye, everyone. I love you.
Sometimes I have a hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't.
It looks like you've been weaving this entire time.
Yeah.
Which means you're crazy.
Yeah, that's